This podcast is part of the Michigan Sports and Entertainment Podcast Network. Go to michigansportsandentertainment.com for more great podcasts.
Hey everyone, you're wasting time with Chris, Beth, and Matt. My name is Chris Williams. With me are
Beth Golpe
and
Matt December.
Welcome to the show. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing
How are
good.
you guys?
How are you? I'm doing great.
You look great.
You look good.
I feel great.
All
You
the
guys
swimming.
look good. It is. It's all the swimming. I got the swimmer's V going. And, yeah, nice little tan from the rec center.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm excited because it's my favorite throwback episode.
Hey, I do like these episodes. I didn't know we were doing
these
this.
are fun. This is the episode where we go around and we say one pop culture related thing we are enjoying this month. And it is a throwback to our old show. It's my favorite.
Oh, it's my favorite. I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, it was a great show. We did for 4 years.
Yeah.
This is better. But,
so far it is, yeah.
So we're going to go around. And Matt, why don't we start with you?
You want me to start again?
No, wait, no, I don't want to
No, I'll start again. No, I want to start.
All right.
I want to start.
All right.
Because I think mine's the best.
Yours might be the best.
Because mine's the one I'm most interested to talk about, which is why.
I would really. Yeah, go ahead.
Yours guys, this is good too, but my favorite is the 2019 TV series The Twilight Zone, which, as we all know, is a remake of the original show The Twilight Zone.
Sure.
And so this is a CBS All Access show. It's like that's CBS's streaming service. It is Jordan Peele. I think you probably know it because Jordan Peele is involved as a producer. He is the narrator. I don't know if he did any kind of writing on this or.
I don't think he wrote or directed any of them.
But you'll know, if you're aware of it, it's likely because Jordan Peele is also involved, and he's been kind of blowing up this last year or two.
Very hot right now.
He is very hot. And so the CBS All Access has has the first 2 episodes up, which are The Comedian, which is the one I've seen, because that one is actually free to stream on YouTube if you want to get a taste of it and see if it's something you'd be interested in watching. And that is the one that stars Kamal Nanjiani, Amara Karan, Tracy Morgan is in it. Mm-hmm. And then the other episode that's up, that went up the same day on April 1st, is Nightmare at 30,000 Feet. And Adam Scott is in that, amongst some other folks. And that one is kind of based on Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, which is the classic episode starring William Shatner with the gremlin on the wing of the airplane. But that one is not, as far as I'm aware, free to view anywhere. So you'd have to actually have the subscription service to see that one, I believe.
And by the time this airs, there'll probably be about 3 or 4 other ones.
Yeah, so that's true. So there
Is
are
it on cable television as well?
no, it's just on the streaming service.
Yeah.
And so I think
CBS trying to jump in on it.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, they've got a few of their own things going. They've got a Star Trek series on there, and then they've got this one.
It's also the only place where you can watch all episodes of Young Sheldon. So.
Oh, yes. I actually want to talk for a minute about the CBS. About the CBS streaming service when we're done talking about this.
Sure.
Because you have it, right, Chris?
I signed up for it, yes.
Okay, so I want to ask you about it when we're done talking about it. So I watched the first episode, because I don't have this service, because it's just like I don't know if I'm ready to pay for another service, but I did want to. I am interested in. I do like the Twilight Zone. It was something I watched growing up, and I do have an awareness of it, and I guess maybe a fondness for it, I suppose. And so I watched this first one, and The Comedian. Basically, the plot of that is it follows this struggling comedian, Kamal Nanjiani. God, am I saying that wrong now?
No,
I don't know.
Right.
I think that's it.
You're close, at least.
And he plays kind of a struggling comedian who, oddly enough, has like a standing, like he performs nightly at this nice
they
nightclub.
keep him going a lot for as bad as he is.
He doesn't get a single laugh. Anyway, he runs into, one night after a bombing, this character played by Tracy Morgan, who I think you're led to believe is kind of this former great stand-up who's kind of disappeared from public life, and how this character says that if he really wants to become, a good comedian and become, go to the next level and have everything, he has to focus more on his personal life and put more of his personal life into his act. And so the next night or that night he starts making jokes about his dog, and he gets laughs. But then when he goes home, he discovers that his dog has vanished, and not only vanished, it's like the dog never existed. Like no one remembers that he had a dog. So he learns that his jokes about the people, about things or people in his life are guaranteed to get a laugh, but then because we're in the Twilight Zone, it causes those things to disappear from existence. It's like if it's a person, they were never born. So it's a pretty long episode. I was like
50 minutes.
55 minutes, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really long.
I know, because I don't think all of these are they all?
No, I've seen this one, and I've seen Nightmare at 30,000 Feet. And Nightmare at 30,000 Feet is between 30 and 40 minutes.
Okay. So it was a bit long. I liked it kind of. I think that I feel like it's like one of those episodes that they'll be like, if they do this show for a season or 2 or 3, I feel like this is an episode that they'll look back and be like, we could have done better on that one.
I can see that.
Because I feel like they kind of missed. I think they kind of missed the mark on it. Because, like, to me, and did you guys watch Twilight Zone at all? Like,
I've seen a few episodes.
Okay. Did you?
No,
ever watch?
I literally have never seen a single episode of this.
Twilight Zone kind of fluctuates between being kind of like a fable, minus the characters being animals or whatever. But there's like a moral, I think, in a lot of Twilight Zone episodes. And I think there are episodes that are less fables and more just like kind of weird, like a look at something weird or interesting or kind of science fiction-y or fantasy, and the kind of how it would work in the real world, because everything is kind of about the real world. It's about our everyday life, but with this kind of weird thing injected,
yeah, it's social
right?
satire and stuff.
So, like, this to me feels like bordering on having a moral, and then they didn't quite know what to do with it. Like, it was a cool... So, basically, the character, he kind of starts using this power to, like, remove bad people that he is aware of from his own life. Mm-hmm. And then he uses it kind of in a personal way, like to, like, improve himself, which he's doing anyway, but then he uses it to, like, remove somebody that's kind of been a problem in his life. And then he, like, kind of starts to regret it, and then... For an episode that's 55 minutes or whatever it is, though, it was strange because I feel like there was like a really... The whole thing with him struggling... there wasn't a lot of struggle for him to, like, whether he should use the power or not. And then really the whole... The lesson is, like, it's him being... It's like him just being petty. Like, it wasn't like him sacrificing things... Like, to me, it was an episode that would make more sense. It was him sacrificing things from his personal life. Instead, he's just, like, being petty. And, like, then he's like, oh, I shouldn't be petty. So, like, maybe that's the moral, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird to me. That being said, I still liked it. Because I thought the performances were good. Mm-hmm. I wish they would have given Kamal Nanjiani more to do. Because I think there was a moment at the end where he's, like, kind of starts to, like... He's, like, really losing it, kind of.
Yeah.
And I was like, boy, I really wish we would have got more of him being able to act. Because he's very much, most of it, he's kind of a straight man. Even as a comedian, he's kind of a straight man in this episode. But I was like, no, I wish we would have got more of his performance. Like, more, letting him kind of, fight with those emotions a little more. But he was really good, and the cinematography is, like, interesting. Like, the setting is very interesting. Like, it does have, like, a very, like, the lighting and
it's gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, it's very, it's very well done, and it's done in, like, a very, like, I don't know, ominous isn't the right word, but even, like, when they're, like, in their house, like, in their own home, in their apartment, the, like, lighting is very, like, I don't know, disconcerting, like, in the way it's framed. Like, everything just feels a little off in this world, which I think is the point, because it's the Twilight Zone. So yeah, anyway, I liked it. It makes me want to watch more. Now, Krista, you've seen this one and the next one. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Well, first off, I do agree with you on the comedian. I liked it. Like, I like Kamal Nanjiani a lot, so that really helped. And I like the premise. I like the idea that, this whole idea of how much of yourself should you put into your art is kind of interesting. And then what are the consequences of that. But I feel like you said, it just goes so long that I feel they kind of lose the thread in some places. Because once he learns what he can do, they should then skip to the consequences of it. And instead he just keeps using it. And at that point, then it just kind of becomes, okay, so what's... It could have easily lost 20 minutes.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Because I like the way it wrapped up.
Yes, I did too.
I think... I wonder how much of a... I wonder how much they were thinking of Black Mirror when they started this. Because Black Mirror was kind of the new Twilight Zone, as they said. Except that Twilight Zone usually doesn't make you want to jump off a building after you watch it. But I feel like, okay, we got Black Mirror. We have to make all these episodes as long as Black Mirror episodes. Or make it as, thematically deep as a Black Mirror episode. And really, it should have just been a simple fable. And
that's what I thought. I mean,
and
that's where I was like, again, that's where I was like, this should be more about him sacrificing from his personal life to get success, and then realizing, if having a realization, well, whether these sacrifices are worth it or not. Like, instead it's just, about a guy using power in a weird way, and it kind of goes on a little too long, and...
They want to make too much of a point instead of just leaving it to figure out. Because the next episode, I really do like Nightmare at 30,000 Feet, which has Adam Scott, and it goes a totally different direction from the original story. So instead of seeing a gremlin on the wing, it's about a guy who gets on an airplane. He finds an MP3 player. He starts listening to it. It's a podcast that is basically a true crime podcast that is talking about his flight that disappears. And so he's trying to tell people, listen to me, the plane's going to crash. But it plays into his privilege a little bit. It plays into he's suspicious of, these Russians, or these people who look Middle Eastern. But then it goes on another 5 more minutes afterwards to kind of make another point that I don't think it makes real well. But it's still good. I like Adam Scott. I just feel like just trust that it can stand on its own without having to dig a deeper point home.
Yeah. Okay.
But I do like Jordan Peele as the narrator a lot.
Yeah.
He's really having a good moment. Did you guys see Us?
Not yet.
Okay.
Us see this.
No, haven't.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I really liked it. But,
is it another horror movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it's good. But it's another movie that, he's getting a lot of accolades because he's a social commentary guy. And I wonder if there's too much expectation on him to do the same thing with Twilight Zone.
I could see that, yeah.
When really, it's Twilight Zone, we know what it is, just keep doing that.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm interested to see more.
It sounds interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how...
I love all those actors.
Yeah, I mean,
I love
they've got...
Scott, I love Camille and Johnny, I love Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, I mean, and they've got... they've got quite a few people lined up for episodes. I saw a list. Let's see, people. What was the list? Allison Tolman, who you would recognize, she's in an episode. Jennifer Goodwin, Tracy Morgan, obviously.
She's my doppelganger.
That's right, she is. Yeah, Greg Kinnear, Chris O'Dowd, Seth Rogen's in an episode. So they've got people lined up for
Greg Kinnear. I
know.
I do love Greg Kinnear.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, at least now that I've seen, that this Nightmare at 30,000 Feet is based on Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. There was a lot of episodes of the original Twilight Zone. Do you know how many episodes there were? There was 150.
There's a lot. And it was hit or miss, too.
Yeah, those were hit or miss. So I'm curious to see how much they just go back and update.
I thought the Twilight Zone was really old.
It was the 50s into the 60s.
It was the 50s, and then they brought it back in the 80s for a little bit.
For a
3
little
seasons.
bit, yeah.
And then, I want to say last decade, they brought it back for a season with Forrest Whitaker.
Yes, you're
There's
right.
also the Twilight Zone movie from the 80s, which had segments directed by Steven Spielberg and John Landis.
Wow.
George Miller did the Nightmare at 20,000 Feet remake in that. So it's a pretty popular commodity.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see, if they're going to be going back to the well to modernize or retell these older episodes, or if it's mostly going to be new stuff.
I feel like this. I'm surprised it took this long.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, obviously they kind of tried,
like Black Mirror.
I guess. I guess I maybe. I mean, how long's Black Mirror been around?
Black Mirror's been around for
4
probably
years.
Five?
No, it's longer.
Because it was in England way before it came over here.
Yeah.
I was just
say
thinking
it's probably been
Netflix.
about 10 years that Black Mirror's been around.
So and I think Black Mirror in a lot of ways, like you said, I mean, it kind of scratches a similar itch. So
yeah, Black Mirror's a lot darker.
That is true.
Because what I do like about the presence of Jordan Peele is he kind of lightens it a bit. He's not funny, but it's enough of a little wink.
Yeah, and I don't know how funny the episode was trying to be, but there was a couple of moments where I actually laughed out loud in this one because I think the people who were in it are funny people.
How can you not laugh at Chasing Morgan?
Right, he's so good. Oh, he's kind of creepy in this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think I guess if it's like a lighter tone, that would be I would be okay with that. I guess so. You have this subscription service. You're paying for this?
I have it right now. I subscribe just for this show.
Okay.
It's $5.99 a month with commercials.
With commercials?
With commercials.
Barf.
And I don't really think it's that annoying. I don't want to pay $8.99 just to watch it without
I'm
commercials.
annoyed that there's a commercial version.
But yeah, I pay $5.99. There's 3 commercials. I have no clue if I would continue subscribing. I'm not a Star Trek guy. And
yeah, I guess I'm wondering if I want to pay for it to have... Because I would like to watch these. I do like the Twilight Zone.
Pay for a month. Who cares?
You could subscribe probably at the end of the run.
And have the free...
And have the free week, and then just binge through all the episodes.
I could do that.
Catch up on a few young Sheldons. And,
here's the thing about CBS. I honestly could not tell you the last time I watched any of their programming.
Oh, the same. We watched Big Bang Theory for a little bit until I got some sense, and then we stopped watching Big Bang Theory. But there is a really great backlog on there. I think there's a lot of anything CBS has ever done is on there. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's I Love Lucy is on there.
Oh, great! Yeah, let me start watching that.
I'm not going to watch a lot of I Love Lucy.
Is the Late Show CBS Colbert?
Yes.
Yep. That'd be on there. They might have the old Twilight Zones. I know it was on Netflix for a bit, but. So I think all the old Star Treks are on there if that's your thing.
I mean, those are on Netflix anyway. I guess what I was thinking about getting it, I was like, well, I would get it because I would watch the new Star Trek, which was supposed to be pretty good, and I would watch obviously Twilight Zone. But
they are making a miniseries of The Stand.
Oh, really?
In 2020, so I figure I'll probably subscribe again at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know if I will keep this in between Twilight Zone seasons.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's the future of streaming is you're going to subscribe to a bunch of platforms that every few months you'll cancel and add another one and then kind of switch them off.
That makes me sad.
It's a lot of work. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so I like Twilight Zone. I'm considering getting it because I'd like to see more. If you're interested, like I said, in watching the first episode, it is available to stream on YouTube. For free.
Maybe I will, Matt.
You'll watch it?
I said maybe I will.
Because you don't like Twilight Zone type stuff, do you?
Well... I like Black Mirror. I've never seen Twilight Zone. Yeah,
I can't believe you've never seen Twilight Zone.
Black Mirror. No, that's the. I just thought it was really old.
I mean, it is old, but some of the stories hold up. You know, some of the more famous episodes I think hold up, or at least the special effects and stuff don't hold up, but the stories hold up. You know, one of the famous ones is. Aliens come to Earth, and they have this book, and they're trying
It's a cookbook!
Yeah, they're trying to translate it, and they translate it, and the title of the book is To Serve, and they're bringing all this great technology, and they're like, oh, it's how they're going to help us, and then all these people are getting on spaceships to go to the alien planet, and just as the hero's getting on the ship to leave, he's going up on the ship, his partner comes running out, and he's like, I think it's a woman. She's like, I figured it out. It's a cookbook. It's a cookbook. And then the guy's getting dragged onto the ship, and he's screaming because they're taking all these humans to their planet to eat them. And so it's it's a real there's a lot of episodes with some real nice twists.
There's one where Burgess Meredith is trying to find time to read. All he wants to do is read.
Oh, this is another one.
Leave him alone. So something happens where every other human being disappears or dies or something.
It's like a nuclear holocaust.
So he finally has time to read all of his books, but then he steps on his glasses.
Oh no!
It's a gut punch.
It is a real gut punch. Yeah. So I mean, that's Twilight Zone. So yeah. Anyway, I
would recommend it. It's good.
Yeah, based on the one episode, I think it's worth. It's like if you have any interest in Black Mirror or that kind of stuff, you probably would like it. So,
I'll probably throw it on while I'm doing other stuff.
Yeah, check it out. Mm-hmm. Check it out. Okay, so that's mine.
Well, I have been watching Hannah on Amazon Prime. Hannah. It is a television show based on Amazon original programming, based on the 2011 movie version starring Saoirse Ronan and Cate Blanchett and Eric Bana.
What, that was the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie.
So, like, Saoirse Ronan and Eric Bana in the movie are, like, the father-daughter, duo stars. And then Cate Blanchett is the villain. And in the television version, it has a very... I watch a lot of, like, Netflix, like... Scandinavian television and like Swedish television shows with subtitles and stuff. Mm-hmm. It has a very Swedish TV vibe to it. It's really beautiful and moody, and the forest that it takes place in, at least in the like beginning episodes, is very dark and mysterious, but also very beautiful. Mm-hmm. But anyways, it's this like really gorgeous like 16-year-old. I'm assuming Swedish actress. And then Joel Kinnaman and Marielle Enos. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. But you will recognize both of them as the the detective team from The Killing. And the guy, Joel Kinnaman, he's like RoboCop. And he did that like Altered Carbon show. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, he's not the real RoboCop. He was the RoboCop in the remake. That is
right.
Ain't no
remake.
Peter Weller.
No, he's young. But he is a Swedish actor, which I didn't know because I was like, wow, his accent is really good in this, and I was impressed because he seems like kind of like a sort of a dopey American in the other stuff. But I'm like, oh, he's European, which makes a lot more sense. But so he and the teenager are the father-daughter, and then the Marielle Enos, who's like this redhead chick that you would recognize. She's been in a million movies. She was like Brad Pitt's wife in World War Z, and she's like from The Killing. She's the star of The Killing, which I think was an HBO show, or maybe
it was AMC.
American
Movie Classics.
Where all the good TV shows are.
And she's like the villain. So she's like the CIA. So it's about like I don't know if you're not familiar. Everyone's familiar with the premise, right? It's like genetically Hannah, the teenager, is like a sort of a war machine type of. She's genetically enhanced to be a super fighter, and the dad is a CIA agent that like kind of went rogue and took her off into the woods and then raised her to be a like survivalist, and then it gets to the point where they become separated, and then there's like the evil CIA, the head of the CIA, who's a chick, and she's trying to, capture the two of them because, they obviously know all kinds of secrets, and she's probably some sort of like property of the government at that point.
That makes sense, yeah.
She's like got a copy of like her DNA test like in her. She carries it with her. She's like trying to find someone that can help her read it, and she's like, why does it say abnormal on? It's very like
very few people can read a DNA test.
But the part that so it's obviously a television show is different than the movie. So aesthetically, it's really pretty, which I like. I love a European forest, very dark. I love survivalist television, like
you do,
and I love like a girl kicking ass, which that's the whole sort of name of the game. Yeah. I love this actor; he is gorgeous in this. He does a lot of. There's one part where he like rubs goose fat on his body to like stay warm.
You're a married woman.
He swims across a lake. And I'm like, he gets down to it, and I'm like, oh, wow, okay.
Rub that goose fat on.
Well, he like goes to the butcher shop. I'm like, why is he buying the goose fat? And I'm like, oh, he's stripping down. But it deals with a lot of, like, obviously they are stretching out this movie into, like, a television series. I can't imagine that it would, like, continue for more than one season. I assume it's more like a mini series, but they deal with her, you know, her and her dad become separated, and now she's, like, out into the world, and they have, like, a rendezvous point that they're both trying to reach in Germany. But now she's, like, exposed to the world. She's never, like, been out there, you know, boys, drinking, girls, you know, friends, like,
that's kind of
you know, it's got a whole element of her just trying to, like, navigate there. She's being hunted by the CIA, and then she's, it's not the CIA, I mean, I don't think, because it's in Europe, so I don't know, whatever intelligence agency, you know, is chasing her down. But anyways, it's very good. I really like it. I think it's entertaining. I really like the acting. They're all, like, very pleasant to look at. All their clothes are very nice. You know, it's just one of those things. It's just, like, nice to watch. I'm just, like, into it.
How many episodes is it?
You know, I don't know. That's a question I cannot answer. I'm, like, 4 in.
Okay.
I remember the movie.
I loved the movie.
I saw the movie. I remember nothing about the movie, except that I remember I liked it, which is what's really weird. But I didn't know they were making a TV show of it, and that sounds interesting.
Yeah, we have Prime on, you know, we have a, like, Fire TV, and the kids use it to, navigate. So we had been seeing, it was, like, the banner ad for, you know, a while. And I'm like, you know what? I loved that 2011 movie. I love Saoirse Ronan, like, anything she does. I love Eric Bana. Cutie.
That's true. Yeah, he is cute.
Such a cutie. So, yeah, I was, like, all on board with this show.
Wait, so, like, 2 things you liked were Saoirse Ronan and Eric Bana.
Well, that's why I liked that movie so much.
Okay.
Like, I was, like, really enamored with the movie when I saw. I remember being really excited to see it, and then I remember really liking it a lot. So I was, like, I had good feelings about Hannah.
I remember the action in it being pretty badass.
It's way better in the movie than it is in the show, unfortunately. But, you know, there's only so much they can do.
There's only so much you can do on a TV show, yeah.
Well, I would love to say I would watch that, because it sounds really good. But then I remember I have, like, so many Amazon Prime shows that I had, like, started. Like, Jack Ryan, I started, and I like this. Oh, this is great. 5 episodes in. I'll get back to it later.
Yeah.
4 months later, I never finished it.
Yeah.
But I will add that to my queue.
It's very good. What's the one Amazon Prime show I tell everyone to watch? I haven't talked about it yet. It's, like, the best show I've ever seen. The Patriot.
Oh.
It's called Patriot, or The Patriot, or just Patriot. Anyways, if you're going to watch one Amazon Prime show. No, not the Mel Gibson movie. It's about, like, a spy that has depression and his antics. It's funny and charming. It's very sweet.
I do remember the Mel Gibson Patriot, though, had the worst line I've ever heard in a movie, which is where he goes up and he's talking to this lady, and he's like, hey, is this seat taken? She's like, it's a free country. Or at least it will be. And I got mad and flipped off the screen. And then he said, am I tired of taxation without representation? Why, yes, I am.
There was actually a line in the movie?
Yeah, it was a line in the movie.
Yes.
It's an awful movie.
That's not good.
So, well, that sounds really good.
Yes, I really like it. You know, it's not like, it's not winning anything, but it's fun to watch. It's winning my heart.
Fans,
yeah, it's winning my heart.
Yeah, maybe Sarah and I will give it a watch. We'll watch it.
It's a good couple, and I'm watching it with Chris, so.
Oh, your husband.
He wanted me to mention that there's 3 different climbing documentaries. He watched them all this week. He's feeling very inspired and
Did he watch Free Solo?
Yes.
He did, and he also watched, what were the other 2?
There was 2 other ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're on Netflix.
They're all on Netflix, yeah.
Free Solo's really good.
But there's one with 2 guys. They all take place, like, in Yosemite, which, like, he proposed to me there. We have, like, really, you know, it holds a special place in our heart. We had gone hiking there, and he proposed, like, at the end of our hike. And there's one with 2 guys, and they, like, met on the internet, I think, and they were one of them is a professional climber, like, free climber, and the other one was, like, a climber, but not in that specific style. So the one guy was teaching him how to do it so that they could do this big climb together. And it was broken up into, like, 15 segments, and the one guy could not get across this, like, one segment.
Oh, shit.
So I was like, you know what, go on without me. So the more professional guy goes. He gets, like, past the toughest part, and he's like looking out over, you get to the one part that you can stand before you get to the top of the climb. It's like 3/4 of the way. And he's like, man, I can't enjoy this without my buddy. He goes all the way back down, and it takes 9 days for this second guy to get past this one part. And he like stays with him the whole time.
Wow.
They sleep hanging in tents. They like nail the tents into the side of the mountain, and they just hang there, and that's how they sleep.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've seen pictures of that kind of thing.
Yeah, the one guy took 2 days to like try to heal his fingers because they were like raw from like they'd been all scraped up trying to do this like one specific part, and it took 9 days for him to do it.
Wow, that's crazy.
And they're like, you don't know what the weather's going to be like in 9 days. Like that's not what I mean. Anyways, it's very inspiring, and the I can definitely put some wind in Chris's sails. He was
He wants to go climbing?
Don't let him free solo.
Yeah.
No, that was the one where that guy was just like, if he fell, he would die, and that's just like the whole thing.
That's crazy.
Like, I mean, these people are nuts.
Yeah.
But it's also like, what a life to choose.
That is a strange life to choose.
Yeah, that's what Chris was saying. It just makes you think of like, what if I just like lived in a van, and that was because that's what the free solo guy like. He's a millionaire.
Oh, he is?
Yeah,
but he just lives in a van.
He's a weirdo.
Yeah.
How did he get his money?
I mean, just
writing books about climbing and going and speaking and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so that's Hannah.
Welcome to the podcast.
So that's Hannah. That's funny. Nice job.
So I guess I'll close.
Yeah, no, Chris, what have you been watching lately?
So I have watched the Amazon Prime series, Catastrophe.
Oh.
Which is a show I had never even heard of until about a month ago. It aired its 4th and final season, and I started to notice a lot of critics were talking about it. And I was familiar with Rob Delaney, his recent life and his stories, so I knew who he was, but I had never heard of this show. And so I decided to check it out. The seasons were really short, like 6 episodes a season, 25-minute episodes. So I got through the first season in 2 days, and then true to Amazon Prime, I never went back. But the first season was so good that I will go back and finish it because I don't think I've ever binged through a show like a season that fast. Like in 2 sittings, I was done with that show. And this is a comedy about a man who goes on a business trip. He's an American. He goes on a business trip to London. He has a fling with a lady. He comes back home. She calls him. She's pregnant. He moves out to London to help her raise the baby. And it's all about the relationship. It's about the kind of nightmares they go through preparing for this baby, dealing with health issues, work issues, friends, sex. Like, it's a really, like, kind of raw, dirty, very funny little relationship show. And I really like it. There's nothing else more to say about that. I love that it's a very honest show. It captures the emotions of being in a relationship, like being in a marriage relationship so accurately, the way that it can go from the funniest, sweetest thing to, bitter fights, swinging back the other way.
Yeah.
It feels very real. It's very funny. There's a line in the first episode where one of their friends describes watching his wife give birth to their child and come out on a wave of turds. I think that was the line that made me stick with the show, because that was really funny. It's a sweet show in many places.
The supporting cast is really good, too. Carrie Fisher is in it.
Oh, yeah, Carrie Fisher is in it.
And then the actor that plays, like, their friend couple, like, they actually play, like, there's, like, a couple that they're friends with that are like sort of a centerpiece of the show. So I've seen the first 3 seasons. The 4th season is the one that just dropped on Amazon maybe this week or last week. But it only gets better, really. It captures the like dynamics in a marriage, really, and parenting, and sort of like the mother's struggles with like parenting really like mirrored mine at this sort of the same time that I was like becoming a mom is when I watched it, because it was like the last, like between 2014 and now is when the show's been on. And I like that it Rob Delaney and Sharon Hogan. No, I'm gonna look. But they co-created it and co-wrote it together. Sharon Horgan.
Horgan? Mm-hmm. That's not his wife. That's the woman.
That's the woman on the show.
On the show
yeah. So they created the show together and they write the whole thing together. Oh, they lock themselves in a room.
She had done some British shows about motherhood beforehand.
Oh, okay.
And there is a part in the first season finale where they get married and they're having a very sweet time, and then he makes some comment, some innocuous comment that turns into a fight like that. And it was the realest thing I had ever seen, because I'm like, oh, I've made that comment before, and I've had that exact same reaction.
There's one where after they have their, I think it's like the first time they leave their baby, they go on a vacation, they go to like Paris, and they're like at dinner, and she makes some joke like, I'm just going to drink too much, and then you're going to eat 2 desserts, and we're going to have a miserable time, because he doesn't drink. He's like sober. In his like character on the show like mirrors himself in real life pretty closely. Like, I love Rob Delaney. Like, I'm almost obsessed with him. Mm-hmm. I read his biography. So he's been like sober for 17 years. His like he writes about like his struggles with addiction and like his journey into fatherhood and stuff in his book, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. But on the show, he's sober. He's like struggling with his sobriety, but he doesn't drink on the show. That's like part of his character. So anyways, he like eats desserts like instead of drinking when he's like stressed out. But anyways, they get into this fight at dinner. They're having like a beautiful time. Then they get to a fight, and immediately like she orders a bottle of wine for herself, and he orders like 2 slices of cheesecake. And then this show ends with him just like them just doing exactly what they said they weren't going to do. But it's like, yeah, that's kind of just like exactly how it is.
Well, and as much as there's fighting, the thing I like about it too that I don't really see in a lot of shows is the characters, as crazy as the life gets, they seem to like each other.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, you see a lot of characters who are in these romances and stuff, who they go through all the kind of big romantic gestures, but you never really see them, like, just kind of laugh
like
because
they're
together.
Yeah.
And they have a really great chemistry together where they're just kind of laughing together. And
They do. I thought they were a couple in real life.
Yeah, they're really
because
good.
their chemistry is really awesome. Mm-hmm. But he, in an NPR interview, was saying, like, that young people will say, like, oh, that makes me not want to get married, watching the show. And he's like, why? I think that they have, like, a really beautiful marriage. Like, they love each other a lot. They, like, sort of face the wind head on, hand in hand, like, plowing forward. And it shows marriage and parenting as, like, the real complicated, bittersweet mess that it is.
Although I will say this is not a show I could watch with my wife, because there is a lot of graphic sex stuff in this show.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, really?
I watch it with
a lot of the language more than anything.
Yeah.
Yes, the language.
Like that?
The language is very severe.
Yeah.
Lots of C words.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of Rob Delaney's butt, which I love.
You seem very excited about that.
Yes,
when the first time I saw it, I was like, there we go. Because I knew it was coming.
It's like right over the title treatment of the first episode.
Yeah. I just love that his like sense of humor he has about himself is really like a big, burly, awkward,
a big, likable
guy,
dope. Yeah.
overeater. I love it.
Yeah, I started to watch the first 3 or 4 episodes, and we really liked it. And I don't know why we haven't. We've kind of had we started watching it last week, I think, and
I don't know how you could stop.
She's kind of been out of town this week, so we really haven't had a chance to. So I'm excited to get back in and keep watching, because we really liked it. Yeah, like he's really likable. I like her. There's something about her hair that I'm like,
that's terrible, man.
It looks like she's wearing a wig.
Yeah, sure. Her hair is a little weird. She gets. I feel like she gets better.
Actually, it's funny you say it, because like the first 2 episodes, I was like, there is something about the way she's parting her hair that looks unnatural. And then I think in the 3rd episode, and she has like a different hairstyle, and I'm like,
yeah, they sort of correct.
I'm like, oh, she looks a lot better this way.
And her style being a little weird is kind of part of her character too. It sort of is like part of her. I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, they're very likable together. They're very it's a very likable. Like it's not even the stuff that is these like awkward social situations. Like I don't find them to be like they're awkward, but I don't find them to be uncomfortable. Like I guess what I mean is like I remember watching shows like The Office where the awkwardness made me like uncomfortable, and it doesn't quite make me uncomfortable in this. And I don't know if that's the way because of the way.
I think it's because there's a scene in the first episode where they go to a dinner party, and it reminded me at first. I'm like, is this gonna be like the Office dinner party? Mm-hmm. But they both find the awkwardness funny.
Yes,
they kind of can lean on each other.
Yeah, that scene is actually pretty great.
That helps so much. Like, it keeps the show from being cringeworthy.
Yes, I think I think that's one of the things that's made it easier. It makes it easier to like them and like the show and watch it. And like I said, I'm
the parts where they're like on the same team together facing like other people are just the best. Like when they're not fighting each other, but they're both like they have a common enemy. Oh, so good. Really, the writing is so good. They're so funny.
It's a very good show.
Yeah, anyways, we could go on and on and on.
It is a show that I think I'm pacing myself through because I know, like, once I'm done, it's done. Yeah. So it's kind of like I don't want to rush through all 4 seasons at once anyway. Yeah. So, but that's Catastrophe. It's on Amazon Prime, and check it out. Quick binge.
Yeah, like Chris said, the episodes are short, and it's just so fun to watch. Yep. So good.
You can binge a season in a night if you needed to. So that brings us to the end of our show. We gave them like a little lengthy bonus.
So much good content today.
Yeah, so much good content. We hit the 40-minute mark.
Oh, no.
It's like the olden days.
Sorry, guys. Sorry,
that's
everyone.
okay. We also got free solo in there. Yeah. So going forward, Beth, where are you online?
I'm at unicornfood.com. That's YOUNICORN food.com. You can find all my social links there.
Matt, where are you at?
Mostly just on Twitter, at Matt December.
You can find me on Twitter at Mere Christianity. You can find me writing about film at MichiganSportsAndEntertainment.com. And you can listen to my podcast, We're Watching Here. Talk about movies every other week on Michigan Sports and Entertainment. And we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening.